Okay, all right, I'm going live here. Uh, I think. I presume I'm going live here. Uh, I'm here on YouTube, just trying out some streaming stuff. And what I figured I would do is just mess around with Scratch a little bit, the drag and drop programming language. Just make some stuff, see how the stream works, see how all this stuff works. I figured it'd be a little bit of fun. I took the day off of work today. I got a little bit of work done this morning, took the rest of the day off, and I figured I'd just try out some stuff and see what the sort of state of the art with streaming is right now. So yeah, let me put a tweet out saying that I'm doing this right now. All right. Okay. So I'm in San Francisco. And I think, when I used to post on this YouTube channel, it was a lot of stuff of my life in Brooklyn about 5 years ago, actually over 5 years ago now. My partner and I moved out to San Francisco, and I've been working for the Raspberry Pi Foundation, although this is just me personally trying stuff out and playing around. So um, yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to switch over to my screen share here. There we go. So you should still see me, and I'm going to cut over to this browser. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Scratch. Actually, before I do that, let me just say, talk about what I'm going to do. So Scratch is a project from MIT Media Lab. In case you don't know about it, it is a drag and drop programming language that you can do right in your browser. And it's great for young kids to learn computational thinking, learn about how to create with technology, get creative, tell stories, solve problems, all that stuff. I really like Scratch. I like playing around with it. It's a great way for kids to get started thinking about the way a computer thinks without worrying too much about syntax, without worrying too much about getting errors and typing and everything. It's very drag and drop friendly, and it has a big focus on creativity, which is something that I'm very passionate about. Is making sure that young people can explore technology through creative means and not just sort of the problem-solving means. So yeah, let me switch back over. So if you've never used Scratch before, it's really easy. Just go to scratch.mit.edu. And this, you'll load up. I'm logged in here. My name is Raspberry Matt on Scratch. But when you log in, you see there's featured projects that people in the community have made, studios, which are areas that you can contribute to, and then all kinds of content ideas here. So you don't have to create an account. You can jump right in, go to scratch.mit.edu, and go to create if you want. But it is fun to participate in the community, create things, save them, come back to them. What's really cool is that you can also remix other people's projects. You can play around with other people's projects and then remix them. So I'm creating a new project right now. Let's see. Um, I've played around a bunch with Scratch, but I am by no means an expert in Scratch at all. But what's great is that you can really explore it without too much fear of things breaking. When you're not going to get errors. It's just things may not work the way you expect, and you iterate and change and see how it works. But don't yeah, it's a really great thing to explore computational thinking and everything. So what I do know here is that we have, when you open up a blank Scratch project, kind of a starter project, you end up with one sprite here. A sprite is just like a piece of graphics that you can program with and add code to. So you'll see, here in the bottom part of the window here, you'll see a list of sprites in your project. And so you could go here to add more sprites, or you can use the sprite you're using. This is the stage. This is where everything basically happens. When you're writing code, when you're creating Scratch projects, what you're doing is you're making things happen over here on the stage, and you are listening for input or looking for the mouse or clicks or everything. Everything basically happens here. The work that you do, the code you write, the logic that you program, it all happens in this area here, and this is where you'll be dragging and dropping blocks. And you have your palette over here, which is all the different things. You've got all these different blocks you can use to control and do all kinds of things. What's really cool is that there's a big, powerful starter set of blocks to use. But then if you click here, you have all these extensions as well that you can add on to program with. So text-to-speech to make your projects talk, video sensing so you can use a webcam, drawing, makey extensions. There's all these things you can do with Raspberry Pi as well if you want. If you load this up on Raspberry Pi, there's a version that has Raspberry Pi extensions for the stuff we do. So, all right. So by default, you get the Scratch Cat here as the starter sprite. It's fun just to play around with this to start so you can see what's going on. And so what I would do is I would usually, when I'm showing someone how Scratch works and what it's all about, I would drag this block here called when green flag is clicked. So that's an event. Do something when green flag is clicked. And you notice there's a little notch here for connecting another block. So, and you'll see right here there's a shadow of the Scratch Cat. That means that the code we're dragging here and the blocks we're building here are going to have an effect on the cat. So I'm going to go to looks and I'm going to drag this say hello block for 2 seconds. So I'm just going to drag that one block. It's going to say hello for 2 seconds. I'm going to hit the green flag. And there you go. So the Scratch Cat had a little dialog box over it saying say hello, and that showed for 2 seconds. Is another example, and we're just going to drag this extra block here that says think for 2 seconds. Let's hit the green flag and you'll see the effect of that. So over here you saw it said hello for 2 seconds, it waited for those 2 seconds, and then it proceeded to the next block, which is a think block. So you saw instead of the speech bubble, the little thought bubble saying for 2 seconds. So if I drag these off and bring them down here, these won't get executed because they're not connected to any kind of event. So we're looking for something to happen when an event happens. In this case, the green flag gets clicked. So let's go to motion. Motion is getting Scratch Cat to move around. So I like doing this sort of turn 15 degrees motion here as another way of just showing what you can do with Scratch as a beginner. So when green flag is clicked, turn 15 degrees. So let's hit green. You notice Scratch Cat just kind of like turned a little bit. If I keep hitting him, he's going to keep turning, right? And he'll turn all the way around, do a full circle. Let's get him back to where he started, right about there. Now, what if we wanted to actually animate that so that when the green flag was clicked, he would do a loop? So we could go to these control blocks here, and there's this control block that looks a little different than anything else we've seen because it has a notch to connect to events like this, so we can connect it to that event, but then it also has a little cutout here where we can drag blocks in there. So this one is a forever block that says when green flag is clicked, do what's inside of here forever. So let's hit the green flag, and you'll see the Scratch Cat is spinning. Okay. Let's see. So what's 360 divided by 15? I can't do that off the top of my head. What is it? 24. Okay. So let's say we wanted only Scratch Cat to spin around once. I'm going to hit stop here. I'm going to take off this forever loop. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to do this repeat block, and it's going to repeat whatever's in here. And in this case, I want to repeat it 24 times to do a full loop, rotate 15 degrees like that, and then watch. You're going to do, right? Yeah, is he ending up in the same spot? Yeah. All right, but you notice he's off there, right? So we would want, let's get him to start off so he's standing straight up. I'm going to go to motion, I think, and then let's see. Where's the point in direction is what we want. Let's see what happens when we do 90. Ah, there we go. So when I said point in direction 90, green flag gets clicked. It points in the direction 90. That sets him up straight. And then after that, it's going to repeat this instruction 24 times, rotate 15 degrees. So then he does a flip every time you hit the green flag. Boom. Right. Now, when you're programming, starting the program is one event. In this case, hitting the green flag is kind of like starting our program, but there might be other events you might want to play around with. So that's why there's a ton of stuff in the palette here. Let's see what we have here, because I don't necessarily want this to happen when the green flag is clicked. Let's try when space key is pressed. Now, this is another event block that'll trigger when something happens. And right now, by default, it's set to when space key is pressed. But if you drop this thing down, you can see that there are a lot of options in here. And so if you're building a game, you may set up the up, down, left, right arrows to control the position of your spaceship or something like that. There's all kinds of, all kinds of things you can do. So now I'm going to hit the space key on my space bar. Every time I hit space, he does a flip. Okay? Whether, it doesn't matter whether I hit the green flag or not, right? Just space key makes it go. So let's play around with that. Let's say we want him to go in the opposite direction. I'm going to duplicate this so that, let's say, if I hit the R key, he'll flip in reverse. Okay, so I'm going to scroll this down, this event block, so that R key is pressed. And then I'm going to rotate negative 15 degrees. Let's see. Oh, negative 15 degrees. Let's see how this works here. Okay, so I hit space. He goes one way. I hit R. He goes the other way. All right. Oh. He stopped. There we go. So you're starting to see how you might be able to build a game or have, make some interactive stories or something. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. Let's look at what else we have. When the sprite is clicked. Okay, that's another event we can play around with. So when the sprite is clicked, I'm going to move that. I'm going to get rid of this. Drag this here. I generally just kind of like drop stuff all around. I don't get rid of things completely. I just mess around, drop them around. I don't like necessarily delete the stuff because it's nice to have it handy. So then let's play around so that when sprite is clicked, let's see what we have here. Let's see these costumes thing. I'm not sure. Let's see what costumes that. Okay, so there are two costumes. Costumes is a sprite having a different look. So if I click, look. So it says when the sprite is clicked. So I just clicked on the cat, switch to costume 2. But when I click on it, see nothing, it doesn't go back. So I might want to do it so that if I take this away, how about try next costume? Let's see. There we go. Now every time I click, it switches costumes. Okay. So that's being controlled by this block, and I could have it do more stuff. I could watch this. So I could say, not only do I want to switch costumes, I want the Scratch Cat to say something. So I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to say on this, and just say I switched my costume. Oop. Okay. So now switch my costume. There you go. So, so far we saw how basic events work that will trigger a series of actions, all the stuff that's connected to them. We've seen basically changing some super basic looks. In this case, we had the Scratch Cat sprite, this object here, and it has two different looks that we can switch between. We see that we can make speech bubbles and thought bubbles as actions in the sort of looks panel. And the pointing in the sort of motion aspects of this. In this case, we're doing rotation. We're setting a particular rotation, and we're getting it to turn. And we looked at a few different control blocks. So in one case, in the beginning, we looked at the forever block, which let us do something forever, and then the repeat block, which let us do something some number of times. So yeah, let's keep playing around. I wanted to show more motion things as well. There's this move function here. Let's set this up so that, let's see what happens if we just throw that in there, and we'll do that to both of them. And just kind of see what the output is. So let's hit the space key. Whoop. Move 10 steps. So he's kind of talking, kind of like going in a circle, right? Let's see. Make that 20 and see what the difference is. Move 20 steps. Hit the space key. Yeah, so he's like running around a globe or running around a circle there instead of just rotating in place. It's kind of rotating around a circle. So let's see what happens on how it would look on this one with this sort of rotation being reversed, but the steps being also positive. Let's set that to 20. I have a feeling I know what this is going to look like. Hit R. Yeah, he's going up in the air. He's doing a flip. that actually is a much better flip than the one without. So if I take this out and hit R, see, cats don't flip like that, right? Around that center point. If I were thinking of a cat flipping, that's kind of how I would think it would be, right? Let's reduce the number of steps by 15 and just see. Oh, I keep hitting green flag, but it's R I want to hit. Okay, a smaller circle, let's do 10 steps. Okay. And hit R. There we go. I'm hitting the green flag by accident there. What I mean to do is hit R because that's the event that triggers this. So let's move 15 steps and turn 15 degrees. I did it again. Hit R. There we go. Okay, so I did a flip. Now, what happens if you want something to happen after this repeats 24 times to do a full circle and a full loop and a full flip, that's anything you connect right down here. So you might want your cat to do a flip and then say something like, look at me, I just did a flip. So let's drag that there and let's do that. So look at me, I did a flip. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna make some room here. Okay, so let's review the code here. When the R key is pressed, point in the direction 90. That means the scratch cat is flat and pointing in the direction to the right. Do this 24 times. That's turn -15 degrees and then move 15 steps. And then when you're done with that, say, look at me, I did a flip, and say that for 2 seconds. So let's hit the green flag. Again, I keep doing that. It's not when the green flag. So I'm so used to using this when this green flag is click block that I keep hitting the green flag expecting something to happen. But nothing's going to happen because I've got nothing connected here. It's when R key is pressed that anything can happen. There we go. Look at me, I did a flip. Okay, let's see, space, kind of goes in a circle there. Cool. All right, so I'm going to delete this. I'm going to actually, can I just, oh, whoa, I grabbed everything. I didn't know I could do that. Oh, I'm dragging on this surface. That's how I'm doing it. I thought I'd be able to drag around, so I'm just delete. Let's delete all this. I'll delete 3 blocks. Okay. Delete block. Delete block. Delete block. Okay. Cool. Let's take a look at what sprites we have. So we've been messing around with just the scratch cat itself. If you go down to the lower right-hand corner, you have your sort of sprite selection thing here, and you can see I've got my scratch cat sprite, the one I'm viewing here, and this is where I can see options for it, where I can show or hide it. I can change the size and position of it to start, and I can name it as well. When you go down here to the right where it says choose a sprite, you can either choose a sprite from their own library, you can draw your own sprite, you can choose a surprise sprite, or upload a sprite as well. So I'm going to choose a sprite, and it's going to open up a new window here that has a ton of stuff in it. So you can just scroll through and see what inspires you. There's cheesy puffs, there's people, there's dinosaurs, a donut. A donut looks good. Lots of characters, lots of people and animals. Gobo is cute. Griffin, Harper, all kinds of things to play around with. And browse this stuff if you're looking for inspiration, for sure. I'm going to choose, that rocket ship. So here's a rocket ship. Now when I hover over it, you're seeing it's not just one costume, it's a sprite with multiple costumes, so it can be animated. Oh, I think I need to scroll up a little bit so you can see it. So rocket ship, I like that one because it looks like it's got a kind of a full version of it, and then it has a blast off spinning kind of thing going on with it. And I think that would be fun to animate. So why don't I choose that to add that? We had fun playing around with the scratch cat and as a beginner stuff and to check out what's going on, but I'm going to get rid of that sprite. Bye. Just hit the little trash can next to it. Now I've got my one sprite here, the rocket ship sprite. Okay, so I've clicked on it, it's selected here, and then you'll see that little shadow of it here. That means it's always good to check that and make sure you're dragging blocks into the right spot so that the stuff we do is actually going to affect this particular piece of graphics there as opposed to something else, because you could have multiple graphics. Let's see. Oh, and while we're doing this, why don't we set up a backdrop? So I think you can still see on the stream. Yep. So I have another button here. Over here on the right, there's a stage thing, and this is what we call the stage here. You can set a backdrop for the stage, and there's a whole thing you can search. Let's see. Let's find kind of a backdrop for us. Where would we want our launch to come from? We could launch from the moon or the sort of this mountain area. Let's see. A savanna. So the way the space one looks is actually kind of in the same art style as the rocket. So I'm feeling like I like that one. Also, the space city is in the same style. And that's important to me. Okay. Oh, they got graph paper too. You can do a grid. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this space city as the background. Oh, wow. The graphics like really match well. I'm into that. Okay, so now I can drag this sprite around, and that's going to be its starting position, you know, when I start coding it. And I think let's drop down the size a little bit. I'm going to make it 75% of the size by making size 75 like that. Okay, bring it down. Okay, cool. And then let's look if I think what I do is the costumes is what I want to check. Duplicate, sprite, rocket ship, blah, blah. Let's go to, we've got that selected. Let's go to control, events, when green flag is clicked, and then looks, we're going to go to switch costume to, I just want to see what we have here. I think rocket ship A is what I want. So if I green flag click, A, no. So it's defaulting to A. Let's B. It's spinning. Oh, do all of them? Let's see. E. Okay, E. E is the costume. I just changed it up so that I can see kind of what costume I wanted to start with. You know, at the beginning of this scene, we don't want the propulsion to be going, and so costume E is the one without the propulsion. That also costume E is good for when it's just floating in space, probably. So D's gonna have flame. Yeah, it's spinning with flame. Okay. All right. Cool, so let's switch it to E. Okay, so now we've dragged our rocket ship down here. You can see here its position, so it's at 8 and -131. Why don't we set this up so that every time we hit the green flag, it's going to reset the position there. So what I'm going to do is go to motion, and then I'm going to say go to 8, -131. You can see it's already chosen there. Its position is already chosen. So when the green flag is clicked, we have sort of our initial starting spot. So costume E, which is the one without the flame, and then its position, which is kind of out in this field outside the city. Yeah, this is going to look good, I think. Okay. So now we would want maybe a countdown. So why don't we say, we're going to have the countdown come out like a think bubble here. And we're going to say, ready for launch. Launch. I'm not a great typist. Ready for launch for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to say 3, 2. I'm going to say that for 1 second. Think 1 for 1 second. Okay. So let's see how this looks when I hit the green flag before we keep going. It's good to kind of check on how you're going check on how it looks while you're going. So hit green flag, ready for launch, 3, 2, 1. Great. Okay, good. So we have we have it when the green flag is clicked, switch the costume to rocket ship E, go to that position down here, the sort of establishing position that we liked, where we liked it out in the field. For 2 seconds, say ready for launch, and then for 1 second, do 3, 2, 1. Now after this, what do we want it to do? Probably want it to start to move. So let's figure that out. Motion. We can glide some seconds to a random position. Let's see what other, to the mouse pointer. Oh, that's cool. Go to, let's glide to a particular spot. Okay. And why don't we drag the ship to the spot we want it to go, and then we'll feed that information into here. Okay. So let's say like for now right there. And so we're going to see here that the position is 2377. So let's enter that here, 2377. And we're going to glide there in 1 second. Let's see how that looks. Ready for launch? 3, 2, 1. See how that, ooh, all right. Not bad. Not bad. See what other options we have here. If on edge, bounce, yeah. Rotation. Set rotation style left to right. Okay, cool. All right, now we know that there's the ability for the costume to show it with flames. So why don't we also, actually, I feel like when a rocket launches, you start to see the flames and they like hold on to it, and then it like they let go of the rocket and it goes up. So why don't we actually change the costume here, like here, if I break that apart and then do a costume change there. So that's under looks. And then we want to switch costume to, and we can take any of the flame costumes. I'm not going to try to animate this. I'm just going to try to give it like a blast off kind of look. You don't need to go and make everything work 100%. You can just, here we go, let's try that. You can just sort of do things halfway and it sells the idea. Oh, boom, that was cool. But I don't like that it just switches sides. So let's just see what is. Now, one thing that I think I need to know is, one thing I need to know is how do I just look at, oh, costumes. Okay, yes, that's right. So up here there's a tab. I can see all the costumes, and this is what I want to do. Okay, I can see the costumes here. Now it's rocket ship A that has the window facing forward and the flames, and that's the one I'm going to want to switch to. So let's go back to our code. Rocket ship A. Oh no, sorry, I switched to rocket ship A. No, what is it? Rocket ship A. Rocket ship A. Did I switch to B by accident? I think maybe in the last time I ran it. So let's try it again. Let's hit the green flag. Ready for launch. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Nice. Cool. So we've got the ship, the flame starting, the rocket taking off from the pad there. Nice. Not bad. Not bad. Now, what I would say is that I would want it to actually go completely off screen. So I'm going to change this glide. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Maybe change over 3 seconds and then move this up so I can get, what does it look like? Oh, how do I'm just going to say Y and add like 100 to it. Let's say 150. So I'm just trying this out. Let's see how this works. I don't know if we're going to get what we're looking for, but what's great is that we can just keep playing around with it and trying. And it's it doesn't quite go off screen. Oh, and this went to 150, right? Because I put in 177 and it changed it. Interesting. I think what it's doing is that it would be really easy to lose sprites if they went completely off screen. And so the way Scratch is built is so that the sprite is always visible, but we would want it to go run off screen. Let's see. Let me just try, like, if I just change this back to 165. Is that gonna flip back to 150? Ready for launch? 3, 2, 1. Did I put in 150? No, I guess maybe I did put in 150. Oh. Okay, so let's do 180. Okay. Let's see. Green flag clicked. 3, 2, 1. 180. Okay, let's just do 200. I could have sworn I put in like 177 and it flipped it back to 150, and that's why I was guessing maybe it was just trying to keep me from keeping the sprite on the stage. But perhaps I was wrong. We can go and look at the playback. Okay. Let's do 250. Okay. 250. All right. 3, 2, 1. And then we'll just the seconds to make sure that. There we go. Oh, wow. So it stopped there, but it actually looks like it's kind of part of that star up at the top. Okay. Let's just do 275. That'll take it out completely. Okay. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Oh, it stops it right there. Yeah, there is some sort of like protection against sending sprites way off screen. So what I would maybe do is then after it gets so high, is go to looks, and then if I can go to hide. After it glides, then hide it so that it doesn't. We don't see the tail anymore. Let's see if that looks natural. Ready for launch? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Ah, doesn't look completely natural, but it works. It's good enough for me for right now. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we can do. Switch backdrop to Space City 1. We can change the backdrop. Next backdrop, we can pick a new backdrop to add here so that we can add another scene. Maybe we can have it land on the moon. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Sensing. Now, if it's touching the mouse pointer, we can have it do something. We can have it ask things. We can have a condition like if the space key is pressed, do something, that sort of thing. Let's see. Cool. Oh, sound. Lots of sound stuff. Now, I'm not wired up right now in order to, the way my broadcast thing is set up, sound is going to come only into my headphones, I think, and you're not going to be able to hear it. So I'm not going to play around with that. At least I don't think you'll be able to hear it. I won't try right now. But a lot of stuff you can play around with sound, and there's like a whole sound library too. Oh, and this comes with like space ripple. Let me just hit play on this. All right. I'm hearing that, but I'm guessing you're not going to hear that. Let me try one more time. And just look at my scratch thing here. Hold on. No, I don't think you're going to be able to hear that. Okay. But yeah, tons of stuff you can play around with sound. But as you see, like here, I created I went into the different sprites that Scratch has available, checked out the different backdrops, took inspiration from that, and created a launch scene. And what's cool is that like a young person here can explore something they want to create, pursue interests that are for them, and explore them using computational thinking and coding, because all of the sort of stuff that you're learning here is all related to computer science. And this is a great way for young people to get started. So that's it. I just kind of wanted to, whoa! I put my foot on my shredder and it kicked off. Yeah, that was all I wanted to play around with. For those of you who are joining for the stream, we've got a few of you watching. Thanks so much. I just kind of wanted to see what it would be like doing a live stream for a little bit and playing around with Scratch Live to see if we could have some fun with it. Maybe some of you learned something along the way, or at least got to see what I'm up to. So thanks so much for joining me, and have a great day. Bye.